the difficulty most of the time is that work-life balance.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to see how you can be the best father, the best husband, and the best student. So there are three variables coming to play here. So for me, it was about managing my time. And that was really how it was. It was challenging. I learned as I went along, because sometimes you have some bad days, good days, especially with the financial pressures as well.
Absolutely.
So you also, because you're full time, you also you have to think about the fact that you have a family to cater for. So it becomes very difficult. So for me, that was really a big one. But how was I able to succeed? First, we look at resilience, but I was able to plan my time clearly. I used to have a very, very funny time that I wake up. I used to wake up as early as 3 a.m. for many years, because I knew that, yes, I needed to wake up early to achieve the things I needed to. But even when at least I will have some family time to at least provide. And it's also good to have a supportive spouse, a support system. To be fair, I can't say that everything I achieved was based on just me doing it, because if you don't have that support network, and that's one thing, being resilient, you need that support network. You need people that you can rant. I've held seminars like that. I tell people, this is a safe place. Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be emotional. Some people say men shouldn't cry. I don't agree. Be emotional.
Thank
cry.
you. Please preach it. I like that.
Cry.
Because it's very, very, your perception is very different from an African. And a 70% of Africans or Nigerians were like, men don't cry, or real men don't cry. So please.
It's not a weakness. It's not a weakness at all. So you need to be able to express yourself. So it's so important that you have that support system. If you don't have one, look for one. In my case, I had my wife then. I was able to support. So when we needed the nurseries didn't work, at least she was there. She was also working as well. So it helps. And that was how I was able to go through that PhD journey, and of course move it straight into, that's another conversation, as an academic. But the challenge there was trying to see how I was able to manage my time. And as many people know, most times with the PhDs, you have more people that are older.
Yeah.
So I strongly believe that this challenge is not just unique to me. It's something that many people.
A lot of people.
And right now it's even worse because of the financial ramifications, the immigration rules. So those things are even more challenging. But I always tell people, don't give up. I've gone through this. I have PhD students that have gone through this as well. You will achieve it if you just continue to do it. Just plan your time. Be focused on what you want to achieve. Get that support system working. Don't give up. And you will achieve it.
Christian, I want to try and be very, very frank with you. Yes, I agree with what you've said. So you said planning your time. I think that is very, very basic. We all know planning, time management. It's easier said than done. Okay. And then you also mentioned a support network, which many guests on this podcast have actually said that, made that clear, that one aspect of being resilient is having a support network or a community you belong to, friends, people you can rant to. What else? I have a question that is lurking behind, but before we get there, what else do you think is important for resilience? So apart from being able to manage, or for you, what else did you do? So you said you managed your time well. You had a support network, which was your wife, was very supportive. Is there any other mechanism that you used?
I think for me, I'll look at it now. Now this is me moving into the scholarly aspect as well. So you can't take it away from a professor. You still need to move into
something more of your experience, of course, what you went through.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, of course, the support network was important, and that was my wife.
Yeah,
clearly, and because to be fair, when I came in, then there were very few people that looked like me. So for me, it was easy for for me to get the support from my wife, but for people, not
Yeah.
letting others.
Yeah.
There are many support mechanisms in place. Some people have Black communities that they can work with. Like I chair the Academy for African Studies, so we have communities of Black people that you can always, especially if you're in academia, that would be a very good point. But those early days, we had a few things of this nature. So please try to get that. But for me, one of the things that I did is, although I said managing my time, that's important. One of the things I tried to do was, personally, I'm a very optimistic person. And I think optimism is important. Some people might say looking at it from a perspective, but I always believe that I don't look at a glass as being half empty. I look at it as being half full. And that is very important in building resilience.
Positivity.
Being positive. So take away the negativity. So every time I had issues, I was looking at the finish line for me. This is why I'm doing this. And I'm going to achieve it. I remember when I started the PhD then, a lot of people said, okay, no, it's going to take you 7 years to do this. I thought I'm going to do it in less than 3 years.
Don't tell me you did.
And I did.
Are you serious?
I did. I did it in 2.5. So,
wow.
So that is very important. You need to be optimistic. You need to be positive. And you can see why I'm saying, okay, of course, time management is very key. Although it looks like people say it, but it's so important in everything that you do. So for me, optimism is very important. I had spoken initially about internal locus of control. And it's so important for me that apart from being optimistic, I don't blame other people for the shortcomings I have. Rather, I would say, yes, how can I be better?
Yeah.
A good story. I remember at one point, I had feedback from my supervisor when I started the PhD. And this is somebody that has been a high flyer. I've always been the best in everything I do. So right from my times in secondary school to university to secondary school, university, even primary school. So I'm always the typical nerd. Not the nerd, but always successful. Then the first time I wrote a report to my supervisor, and he's like, this is not great.
Good enough.
Not good enough. This is not how to write. I'm like, wow. Like, are you serious? Nobody has ever told me that before. That was the first time I was hearing that. And I went back. I cried. I was like, no, how can he tell me I can't write? Because I'm not used to hearing that. And I could have just said, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, okay, this is not the right thing for me. Or I was feeling I should go back to my pharmacy. I said, no, he's not going to ever tell me that again. That was my mindset. That this is going to be the last time he's going to tell me that. And after a couple of weeks and months, like, oh, Christian, you're not writing better. I just smiled. But that feedback could have taken it in a negative way.
Yeah.
But rather, that was what built me. And like, yeah, it made me better. And for me, that is very important.
So I want to use, I think the word for it is being able to be humble. So humility to realize your mistakes or maybe your weaknesses and that determination to do better.
You're right, because at the end you need to be humble.
Yeah.
No man is or woman is a mountain. He's always and that's going back. That's always a learning point.
Yeah.
You need to have that growth mindset.
Because some people will take offense. Some people ego like how dare he says this? I've been a high flyer. I'm doing so well, and that could switch them off.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because at the end you have to know that you can't know everything. So you need to take you take the feedback in a constructive way and say, yes, I'm going to improve. But also that growth mindset is important. One thing is taking the feedback. Another thing is how can you
do with it?
What do you do with it?
Yeah. How do you improve?
How do you improve? So for me, it's okay, yes, this is it. So I need to get involved in things that will make me better.